Hi everyone, this is me, your admin Josh from Pageant Empress, and today I have two special guests with me. They are the first and the second runner-up of Miss Universe Nepal 2020, Sujita, Basnet, and Nina Kant Mandal. Hi girls, how are you?
Hi,
Hi,
George. Hello.
very good.
How
Is
are
it
you?
just? I'm good. Well, I'm gonna be honest. It is quite late. I'm feeling a little bit sleepy, but I feel more awake talking to you girls now.
Yeah, we'll definitely wake you
Yes,
up.
Yes, we'll
yes,
keep you awake.
that'd be great. And today I feel very international because we are in all different time zones. So I feel like we're in Miss Universe at the moment. Like I'm representing Asia Pacific and Africa. Nina is Europe and Sujita is Americas.
Yes, yes, we are representing everything, bringing the universe to
International
Pageant Empress.
time.
Yes. So I have a request. I make all my guests do this. I'm sure you guys know what is coming. Like I have made Nina do this before too. So I would like you to say your full name, age, and maybe let's go for Nepal this time. Because before in Miss Universe Nepal, you said your hometown, right? Like introduction, you're at Miss Universe stage. Pretend you're in Miss Universe preliminary competition, and you are introducing yourself. So whoever wants to go first.
So, do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. All right. This is so weird to do without walking because that's like part of the whole flow, you know? All right. Namaste. My name is Sujita Basnet, 28, representing Nepal.
Yay! Hello, everyone. Nina Kantmandal, 25 years old, representing Nepal.
Well, that's great, both of you
Yay!
girls.
By the way, I'm going to be 26 soon. Oh my gosh.
Ah!
I cannot believe it. Time is going so fast.
Time's
Happy birthday in
ticking.
advance. Also, congratulations. You reached the level, right? Like 10K. I think that was your goal.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Congrats,
I
Nina!
wanted to do this for such a long time. And when I woke up seeing 10K on my Instagram profile, I was like, oh my gosh, am I still dreaming? Like, is this true? Is this real?
Aw, congratulations.
Yes, thanks to everyone who's been supporting me, who subscribed to me, followed me, and I feel so much love.
So I'm gonna cut this part out. It will be around 1 hour interview. Would that be okay with you girls? This whole thing will be about 1 hour, roughly.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So the
Sounds good.
first question I have for you girls is, how does it feel to create history as you are the first batch of Miss Universe Nepal 2020?
Oof. There's so many feelings. Like, honestly, it's so hard to describe it in a couple of words because you feel so much importance. You feel so much of pressure, yet so happy, and it's just the whole process was so. It was so different to what I've experienced before because I've been in pageantry a couple of times before this, and this felt so big. It felt so international and grand. It's like we're actually creating history for the whole nation, not just one country, but the nation all across the world. And
Mhm.
it felt really grand. At least for me, it did.
Yeah. For me, it felt, as the pioneering batch, I was also part of the pioneering batch of Miss Nepal US, and I've seen the organization grow and the opportunities that girls have gotten through the years, the 10 years, right? And so I felt the same feeling with Miss Universe Nepal. It's like, this is the first time it's happening in Nepal in such a different way. We're revolutionizing the way people look at pageants in Nepal. And
Yes.
this is just the first year. Imagine the amount of effect we can make in like 5 years, 10 years down the line. And yeah, there's going to be hiccups the first year, but I'm just excited because the level of empowered women that were part of this organization, from the contestants to the organizers to like everyone, the choreographers, everyone, it's just wow. Like we're putting women on the map and we're establishing, setting a standard for women in our society. And so I think I felt very empowered and just very honored actually.
Yes, and I feel like I'm putting myself out there too, but I also feel very proud because Pageant Empress was also part of the team for Miss Universe Nepal, so I feel really happy to be part of such a historical moment, especially in Nepali pageantry history. So now let's talk about as we all know, uh, COVID-19 happened last year, and we all have been at home most of the time, right? Because of lockdown. So what is the one new hobby or yeah, let's say hobby that you learned during the COVID-19 pandemic? Any hobbies you learned? Anything new?
Well, I wouldn't say hobby for me, but I absolutely did not enjoy cooking before because it was just such a like, it took so much time to cook a meal. And so now through COVID, through the pandemic, I've actually been appreciating the art of cooking and learning how to cook good meals instead of just microwave meals. So I think that's something that I picked up. I consider that a hobby, I guess.
What are you
Yeah, actually
cooking,
for me as well. Like
Sujita?
I've learned how
Yeah.
to cook.
Mm-hmm.
And also I've tried vegetarian food for the first time, like being going vegetarian completely because my older brother is vegetarian and his family is as well. And we lived with them in our country house throughout the whole pandemic. And for me it was something interesting because I've always wanted to try it, but I wasn't scared, but it was like there was meat everywhere, like all the fried chicken and junk food, and I was like, okay, let's do this challenge. And it was something very interesting. I do eat meat again, but
Okay.
it was something new and challenging. Yes.
Interesting. So you both learn how to what cook, right? Learn to cook new food. So Sujita,
Yeah.
what did you learn to cook during the pandemic?
Oh gosh, so many things, but I think you mentioned chicken, Nina. I think I perfected the art of cooking fried chicken. I love fried food. I hate to say this on an interview, but that is my sweet spot there. And it's so hard to make fried chicken. I don't know if you guys have ever tried, but perfecting the texture on the inside and the outside is just so hard. And so
Mhm.
that's something that I invested a lot of time in this pandemic. And I'm proud to say I can make good fried chicken.
Gosh, I am coming to your house
Yes.
for sure.
Please do. Everybody come. Please come here and I will make you some good comfort food.
Yay.
Sounds great. So as like I myself included, I feel like all of us are different. I don't say different types, but we are all NRN, right? Non-resident Nepali. So I feel like we definitely can connect in many ways. So as you girls are also NRN, fellow NRNs, living abroad, you flew thousands of miles to Nepal to enter Miss Universe Nepal. So what motivated you girls to join Miss Universe Nepal? Anyone can go first. Anyone. Nina or Sujita, whoever wants to go first.
I'll let you go first because
Okay. So for me, actually, like the first push was winning Miss Asia Russia because I also represented Nepal. And after that, a lot of people, including you, George, actually texted me
Guilty.
saying that I should go for Miss Nepal. I should go for Miss Nepal. But unfortunately, I couldn't go for Miss Nepal because it was not like the separate organization. And this year, when Miss Universe Nepal came to life, I was thinking maybe this is a chance for me to try because I mean, why not try? We only live once, right? And also, a lot of people have texted me. Suddenly, I got so many messages saying, you should go for it. You can now take part in this. Oh my gosh, you should go for it for sure. And you can represent Nepali people all across the world, you know, from at least from the European kind of side of the world. So I was very motivated by that, like very motivated because people in Russia did not support me as much as Nepali people all around the world. So that was the main motivation for me actually. And also like a challenge. I was thinking I should just challenge myself to do this. And also I wanted to reconnect with my roots, that's for sure. That's something I wanted to do for a long time. So this was a chance for me to finally come close to my roots, come close to Nepal. So yeah.
Great. What
yeah.
about you, Sujita?
Yeah, no, I mean, very similar to what Nina said. For me, I've always wanted to represent Nepal. I mean, I was born and raised in the United States, but I feel like I'm very Nepali at heart. And over the years, I wanted to become more and more Nepali versus like American. And my friends can attest to this. So after I did Miss Nepal US, I really had this like passion that I wanted to not only continue pageantry, but I wanted to do pageantry in Nepal. And I did try, unfortunately, I did try to go to Miss Nepal previously, but there were just certain factors that I wouldn't qualify for that pageant. And so this year, because of all the inclusivity factors, I, as an NRN, was able to participate. And my last year, thank God, it was such a blessing in disguise because it was my last year that I could have ever participated. And this and the organization had the inclusivity factor where I could come in as an NRN and participate. And so thank God for that, I was able to participate. But yeah, for me, it was always just, empowering the youth and promoting Nepal. That's been my little motto ever since I in 2011. And that's the biggest factor. And despite what happened, I'm going to continue to represent Nepal, I know. But it was such a great experience. And yeah, I mean, I think whatever the organization has done, I'm excited to see what else happens in the
Yes.
future.
I absolutely agree with you. I feel like with BBB, Miss Universe Nepal, they are creating history and they're breaking the boundaries and barriers of what is beauty. Because, we have this idea, the vision in our head when we think of beauty queens, right? They have to be a certain type of girls with slender bodies and a certain amount of height. And I feel like because there was no height requirement, and I believe you didn't have to have Nepali citizenship, if I'm not wrong, right?
Mhm.
Which
Yeah, that's
it
correct.
makes it so much easier because I myself, I'm Anaran, like I said, for me, if I was a girl, it would be so much difficult for me to join any other Nepali pageant. But thanks to Miss Universe Nepal, we have you two lovely ladies who are testament of, breaking the barriers. And I'm so happy to be interviewing both of you today. So my next question to you is, okay, I would like to take you back in past, if you girls don't mind. So let's say about 20 years ago. So when you were a kid, where did you grow up, first of all? And how are you as a child? So Sujita, you go first because Nina went first for the last question.
Yeah. So as a child, where did I grow up? I've born and raised in Maryland, been here all my life, hopped around to different parts, but I was raised in I think I mentioned this previously, I was raised in a single mother household, in a low income household because, my mom had come here for college and she was still trying to establish herself when I was born. And so, finances was a big, big struggle for my family growing up. And so I grew up in a very, in a predominantly African American community in a low income household. And I really appreciate my childhood because I feel like I've become who I am today because of my childhood and the surrounding that I grew up in, and the whole mentality of being a go-getter. I think that was ingrained from my childhood. And so as a kid, I was very shy. I was very I was the only Asian kid in the classroom, and I was very different from everyone else. So in that way, people liked me, and then certain people didn't like me because they were like, oh, look at that girl. So in that
Right.
sense, I was very shy. It took me a while to open up, but through my years of schooling, I realized, me being different is my asset. People are intrigued by me because I'm different. People are intrigued by me because of the language that I speak, the different language that I speak and the different culture that I come from. And so I took that, instead of using that to, make myself feel bad about myself, I use that as like something to boost and empower myself. And so growing up, I eventually came out of my shyness, and like I said, the environment and the situation, circumstances that I grew up in really have molded me to become the strong person that I think that I am today. And yeah, I mean, that kind of sums up my childhood a little bit.
What about you, Nina? So where did you grow up and how are you as a child? Small Nina, young Nina, how is she?
The baby Nina was born in Moscow, Russia. So I am a mix of cultures. My mother is Russian and my dad is Nepali Indian, but he was born and raised in Nepal. And then he came to Russia, met my mom, and here I am now. So I can also relate to Sujita's story actually a lot because I was born and raised in like a sort of mixed cultural community. Like, I mean, me, my mom, my family, we're all sort of like mix and match. And I was also one of the only children at school who was dark skinned. And unfortunately, sometimes I did hear some negative comments about it. I heard some good comments about it as well. People asking me, being interested in my heritage, being interested in who I am, where I'm from. So I also had the goods and the bads of it. And I felt like that also made me close up a little bit because I was not understanding who I am. Because some people did reject me, sort of saying, oh, you're not from here, kind of thing. And some people did accept me, which helped me to grow up and grow some more confidence. And also during the times of my childhood, Moscow was not a very safe place to live, at least for the foreigners, the people who actually stood up a lot from the crowd. So my parents did try to keep me safe. They didn't allow me to go outside by myself. I always had to go outside with my either relative or someone who is elder, you know, who can take care of me. So that sort of made me feel very closed off from the rest of the world, like the rest of the people and the children who could freely go around, play. And I didn't understand back then why it was happening like this. But as I grew up, I realized it was because of my parents trying to keep me safe, and my skin color is very different from the typical Russian, you know, the Slavic Russian looks. So due to that, I was also a very quiet kid, very shy. During my classes, I would just sit there, wait for wait for the teacher to start the class while everyone else was running around playing with each other. I was just standing there like, you know, am I allowed to play? Can I go or should I stay here? I don't know. So I was very I respected authority that much. Like I was scared to do anything that would make the teacher yell at me or like scold me for something. So also through my experiences as I grew up, for example, when I moved to India, that was the first time when I actually experienced that many cultures all placed in one school, like in one little community. And I also felt like everyone else felt the same as me. They felt like they were sort of a part of something, yet not completely part of something, a mix of some different cultures as well. So that made me feel very unique because I saw that those people took that as their unique features. And I realized that's what I should do as well. I should look at that more of something unique rather than being, you know, something negative. So that helped me open up so much. And also as I moved to university and then tried pageantry, went for my dream of becoming a model, all those little bits and pieces helped me open up and helped me also to go for Miss Universe Nepal, because the little me could have never thought that, you know, the older me, the now version of me could do something like this. So yes.
Since we're talking about childhood, can you guys see the screen? Is it sharing?
Yeah.
Can you see there's a picture of someone?
Oh my gosh.
Can you see there's a picture of someone? I'm not sure. Can you see it now?
That's baby Nina.
So do you have any message that you like to tell to the young Nina? And is that in India, if I'm not wrong? Was that in India?
Yes, that's in India. That's in India. It was one of the celebrations. I'm not sure which one. I don't remember which one that was, but I would say the young Nina should just not listen to other people and go for what she feels is right, because she was always very scared of what other people would think of her, what people would, I don't know, say, of the judgments that people would place on her in whatever she does, however she looks or whatever she says. And she was always scared to say something because people would judge her. So I would tell her, just do whatever you feel is right for you, because it's your life, it's not someone else's life. You have to live it. So just live your life and enjoy it to the fullest. You're gonna go big, you're gonna go far, so just go for it.
I agree with you. So did you wear sari before this photo was taken, Nina? Have you worn sari, the outfit you're wearing on the photo?
Oh,
have you worn that
I did.
before this picture was taken? Or was it the first time?
I'm not sure. I think that might have been, whether it's an old one or not. I did wear sari before this. I mean, before that day. Also in Moscow, when we had some celebrations in Nepali embassy, we did dress up traditionally, and most of the people wore sari, so I did wear a sari as well. So I did, wear it beforehand, but I think that one might have been a new one that I wore for the first time during that celebration at school. I'm not sure.
You look
Wait, I
really
have a question
cute.
for Nina. Nina, how did you learn how to wrap a sari?
I think it was my cousin's wives that helped me to do this, because when I saw how long the sari is, I was like, what is this? How do I wear this? It's like, I look like a mummy if I try to wrap myself in this? So they did help me, of course, to wrap it up. And also my mom, she tried to learn because she was also wearing saris. And she did help me sometimes, to tuck it in properly, to kind of put pins in the places. So
Let's
But
see.
now I can see. Oh, I love that picture. It's so
It is
cute.
showing now.
Okay.
All right, okay.
Oh my
Let me
gosh,
ask you
that
some
picture.
question. Yeah. So what message do you have for the young Sujita in this picture? And can you talk about this picture too, the story behind it?
Yeah. Okay, so the story behind this picture, it's actually very like personal, but I'll share with you guys. So growing up, my mom always worked in the hospitality industry, and she still does. And so this picture is taken at a hotel where we actually used to live in. So we didn't have a house when I first was born and stuff. Like we used to, up until I was 12 years old, we lived in a hotel where my mom used to work. And so this is a picture there. We lived on the second floor there, and my school was like right behind the corner. And so pretty much I grew up in a hotel. um and I was just, I was just one of those kids that just loved dancing. I used to admire Kareena Kapoor's Pooh. She and so I used to like dress up like her and try to like be like her and dance like her. And so that's kind of the story. And then I also when I was 10 years old, my grandma got me into kuchipudi because I loved dancing. And so I used to take lessons, kuchipudi dance lessons, and I loved it. And I think that's where I got a lot of like my posture, my stance. And that's also something that got me into cheerleading and then eventually into pageantry, because the dancing, the flow, the art of performing. So that's kind of the story behind the picture. A message I would give to that young girl there in that picture is dream big, sister. Dream big, because no dream is ever small. It's only small if you think it's small in your head. So dream as far and as wide as you can and shoot for that dream every single day, because you will get there one day. So that's the message that I like to give to her.
Oh, you know what you said? What's her name again? Oh gosh, what's that Indian actress name? The one you just said, Karina? Did you say Karina?
Kareena Kapoor, yeah.
You know what? You actually do not give me Karina Kapoor. You give me Kajol from that famous 90s movie with Shah Rukh Khan, Kajol, and Rani Mukherjee, if I'm saying it.
Yeah, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Yeah. Like, remember the Kajol had the same headband, and it's such an iconic look. And I was like, is she inspired by Kajol in this picture?
That's actually true. It
Yeah, I
does.
see
And
it.
even
Like, you
now
look,
after Kajol has a baby,
yeah.
even the young girl that's born afterwards kind of looks like that.
So it's like, is it reference to that? But you look really cute too. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this. How do I do this? Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay. So can we see a couple of the, hand gestures that I always make girls do, either sing or dance? So since you're a dancer, can we see a couple of your moves here and there?
Yeah, it's been so long. Oh my gosh, I want to go back and perform so bad. But so this and then this. So it's pretty much a lot of this. And then there's like hand movements, like you go out and you go out and then you go out this way and then you go up. And then there's just like, there's so many things. There's I think more than the hands, it's the feet. And so I think I told you this in our previous interview, but kuchipudi is one of the 7 classical dance forms in our Indian Hindu religion, culture, heritage. And kuchipudi out of the other, so the most famous is Kathak, right? Kathak is very much like a lot of spins, a lot of like, so you stand, your posture is like straight. In kuchipudi, it's a lot of the flow, so it's more like lyrical dance, if you want to like make an analogy, and it tells stories. So most of the dance forms, you're literally it's like 30-minute dances, right? And each dance tells a story. So my favorite one is the story of Draupadi, and there's a whole segment in the dance where, like, the whole scene where she's gambling, and then she's like gambling with the demons and all of that. Like, there's a whole scene in that dance where you literally, if you're dancing as Draupadi, you're like doing the whole scene of like gambling and then like everything. It's so cool. If you guys ever get a chance to watch kuchipudi dances, please just YouTube it and spend hours and hours watching it.
Sounds amazing. So my next question, so both of you girls were born, one in Russia and another one in US. Am I correct to say that? You're both born abroad, right? So as both of you are born abroad, what were the challenges you faced as a Nepali living abroad in Russia and in USA?
I can go first. So as you know, and I think this is something that that it's not a challenge that I went through that I've overcome. I think this is still a challenge that I go through every day, even today, is balancing the two identities. I know we hear this over and over again, but really there's so many layers when we say like balancing identity. It's not just an identity crisis in a physical sense, right? Like me not looking like everyone else. Because especially in America, and I can't talk about your experience, Nina, because it's completely different, but in America, it's a melting pot. There's people from all cultures here. And yet that balance of like finding my identity has still been a struggle because, you know, there's so many things, not only with, you know, the cultural understanding, but like me wanting to, you know, have people understand when I have certain traditional festivals or certain, you know, holidays, I want my friends to be able to participate in it and understand it, you know, and the same thing when my friends are having it, I want to be able to understand it. But sometimes there's a gap in that understanding because you only understand it at a surface level and you don't appreciate it, right? The second thing is respect. The form of respect in America is very different than the form of respect in Nepal. And I think that was like a really big struggle for me because I never was raised to call my mom by her first name, right? But here it's so common to just say like, call your mom by your first name and call your teachers by their first name, not add sir or ma'am or say dai or didi in front of everything, right? And that is the form of respect that I, you know, was really hard for me to balance because when I come to Nepal, I have to turn that on or else I'm disrespecting people. And when I come here, I turn it off or else people are going to be like, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? You know, so like finding that level of like respect and understanding where I lie in that, you know, has been a struggle. And then third, I think it touches a lot on like our the decisions that we make in our life because we do want to, you know, at the end of the day make our family happy, we want to make our society happy, and we want to make our country proud, right? When I say my country, I say Nepal, but at the same time I'm also American, and so there's lots of things that I've seen as I've grown up that my parents have never seen that I also want to do. And it's really hard trying to get them to understand and meet you in the middle because we come from two dramatically different cultures where you know in America certain things are okay for kids to do and for teenagers to do, and in Nepal those same things may be looked down upon, and it's finding that balance like how can I live my life and still find my own identity without compromising the happiness and you know the respect for my family. I think that's been such a struggle and I still go through that every single day. So you know, I mean, it's just a part of being an NRN, I guess.
Yeah, same. And you know what? I can definitely agree with you on that. And the biggest difference I found, I don't know, Nina, if you can relate to this or not, but because I grew up both in Nepal and in UK, the first difference I found was how the students would actually talk back to the teacher. Because in Nepal, I studied for primary school, and I used to get hit really hard with big ass stick, even if it's like saying like going out. And I remember it was so weird. The first time I noticed was I really had to go to the toilet in UK, and I think I was like 12 years old, and like I had to like raise my hand and like keep on like, and the teacher was like teaching, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "Okay, yes, George, what do you want to do?" So, can I go to the toilet? And she was like, "Why are you asking for my permission? Of course you can go to the toilet." I was like, I thought. But like no, like do I not need to ask you permission? Like it was my mentality was yeah, like you know, growing up in Nepal first, I had that mentality, right? Like I always need to ask for something for the teacher and like not talk back to the teacher or like you know answer back. And like that moment really made me like question us. Oh, so in the UK it does not work like that. You're able to do so many things. You're more independent. And like she even told me like, do not call me ma'am. And I thought, what should I call you? And she said, call me by my name. I thought that was
Yeah.
like, yeah, culturally I was shocked. Like for me, like the whole vision, it was like, wow, I didn't know it existed like this in the Western country. What about you,
Yeah.
Nina? So yeah,
And sorry,
continue.
one
Sorry.
more thing, and
Yeah,
that kind of like goes back to the point of like respect too, right? Like we
yeah,
value in like other in Asian cultures, we
yeah,
value and respect elders so much that sometimes we lose our identity in respecting and valuing other people's opinions. Whereas in Western cultures, like you know, you value the individual. So even if your opinions are wrong, you say what you have to, you know, and that comes
yeah.
off as very rude in you know in Nepali culture or even other Asian cultures. And so, you know, that clash is just, it's really hard to navigate and find yourself.
Yes. What about you, Nia? So how was it growing up as a young Nepali, you know, girl? So what was what's the question? Let me go back to the question. Like what were the challenges you faced growing up as a Nepali girl living in Moscow, Russia?
Well, as I mentioned before, I was standing out quite a lot during my, like, due to my features, dark
Mm-hmm.
features. And a lot of people, one of the things that I've noticed here in Moscow is that no one, not no one, but so many people don't know where and what Nepal is. So many people have asked me, like, so where are you from? I'm like, well, I'm from, Moscow, Russia. And they said, like, yeah, but you don't look Russian. Like, yeah, I
Right.
know, explaining the whole thing of my mom is Russian, my dad is Nepali, and they're like, Nepali, what is that? I'm like, well, from Nepal. They're like, what is Nepal? I keep telling them, this is the country, blah, blah, blah. And only when I get to the part where, Everest, they're like, oh, yes, I was wondering where that is. And so I kept telling, like, trying to explain to everyone where Nepal is. To the point where at one point I was just like, I'm just very tanned Russian. I got so, like, tired of the same question, hearing the same question, because, like, as a kid, I felt like I am Russian. Yes, I'm mixed race. I'm Russian and Nepali and, like, partially Indian as well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it made me so confused. Like, so where do I belong? I'm here, yet people don't see me as Russian. At the same time, I've never lived in Nepal, and when I go there, I don't feel like I'm fully Nepali. And for me, I had that, the identity crisis of who I really am, because I was standing out too much and I wanted to be a part of something at least. So that sort of, not blend, but like the crisis sort of calmed down as I went to India, actually, because as I said, there were so many different nationalities mixed in one place. So that people just, were telling their experiences, and I also told my experiences of, like, we were just laughing it off. And it sort of became a very lighthearted topic of, like, so, what funny stories did you have when you had the identity crisis? And the funny thing is that, as you said, you, for example, you, George, you grew up in Nepal and you first
Yes.
experienced the Nepali way of teaching, right? And then you
Mm-hmm.
went to another country. For me, it was the opposite, because I first studied in Moscow, in a Moscow school. And here everyone kind of talked back. Some kids were sort
Right.
of rude to their teachers. Some kids were kind of, like, really quiet like me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to India, it was like the whole thing of, like, people addressing me as ma'am and some other people as sir. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, why are they calling me ma'am? I was very confused. I was like, what is this? And then as I started to understand the culture even more, the culture of respect, of how
Yeah.
people call each other over there, I started getting closer to understanding myself, my roots, my father's roots, of, like, where he came from. So for me, it was like a learning experience as well when I moved to schools. And as I entered Miss Universe Nepal as well, it sort of opened up the Nepali, more of Nepali culture for me. Because my dad used to tell me a lot. We used to go to different celebrations at the embassy. I did see a lot of things, and I did hear, my dad telling me stories. But at the same time, it's not the same as you live in the moment, in that culture. So for me, it was more of traveling. That's what opened up me for myself. But as I grew up in Russia, yes, I was a very confused child.
Oh, bless you. So, since both of you are still living abroad, you're born abroad and now you're still living abroad. So, how would you describe a Nepali person to a foreigner who has never ever met a Nepali person in his or her life? How would you describe a Nepali person?
I would describe a Nepali person. I mean, I don't think there's one way to describe a Nepali person. I think, everybody that I've met who's Nepali does not fit the look of a Nepali. You can't just look at them and say, "Oh, you're from Nepal."
Yeah.
Even me, right? It depends on my hairstyle too. Some days I look Filipino, apparently. Some days I look Korean. Some days when my hair is curly, I look like I'm from Latin America. And so, and my grandma, she definitely looks Mexican. So I think in terms of, like, physical attributes, there isn't a way. But I think one thing that really does resonate with everyone that's met a Nepali is our smile. I think, people say that Nepalis are so genuine. Like, when they smile and they offer you something, it comes from within. And I don't think, like, and I don't know if they're being biased because they met me, or they, you know, they're just saying that because they're saying it. But even from my experiences, I know that Nepalis are so welcoming. You'll be a random stranger, and let's say I go to New York, I run into a Nepali on the street, on the subway, they'll be like, Mero Garma, you have to come to my house, you have to sleep here, you have to eat here. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know you. And so, you know, that like genuine nature of just like being welcoming, being like, you know, just like being so welcoming and like family like, I think that definitely resonates amongst all Nepalis, whether, you know, you're in Nepal or not. So I think that's how I describe Nepalis, are just genuinely welcoming.
Yes. And before Nina answers, I want people to look at us, all of our faces, all three of us, and that will show how diverse Nepal is. Because I don't think any of us look the same. Like, we have very different features. And if we go, like, we are, well, let's say New York City or somewhere like, you know, abroad, and we are like together, I'm sure they will not say we're all Nepali, because we have such different diverse features. So I think that's what, makes us Nepali. But go on, Nina. How would you describe a Nepali person to your Russian person?
I would I would agree with Sujita for sure. Nepali people are so welcoming. The amount of times people have told me, no, you are not allowed to stay in the hotels, you're staying in my house. The amount of times I heard that, like on a daily basis, it was, I don't know, I cannot even like count how many times I've heard that. Because everyone was like, okay, so we're waiting for you at this hour, we're cooking food for you, you're staying in our house, we're gonna take you shopping, we're gonna buy you this, or like, you know, get you some gifts. And like the amount of warmth I got from everyone I've met there is just, I don't know, it felt so heartfelt. The whole experience of being in Nepal was so heartfelt and welcoming, because in Russia, people are not usually gonna invite you to stay over in their houses if they meet you for the first time, because that would be weird. That would be like, why you do want to stay in my house? Like, do you want to rob me or something? But in Nepal, everyone just wants to share with you, wants to share their experiences, wants to talk to you about anything and everything. And when I stayed in some of the relatives' houses, they told us the whole story of their lives, everything about themselves, everything about their family, about their community. And that culture of sharing is something that made me feel so, I don't know, made me want to like cry the happy tears.
Oh, so Nina, how is your Nepali going? Because I have to ask you this question. Because remember, like you were saying, you're learning Nepali. So how good is your Nepali now?
My Nepali sigday too. It's my Nepali right now. Like I put it like on for some time to a pause, because right now I just wanted to spend my quality time, like my calm time with my family. Like no learning, nothing. Like not putting too much pressure on my brain right now, because what we went through, like it was such a big experience. So I wanted all of it to kind of like sink in, calm down a little bit, and understand what I want to do for this year, set some goals as well. But I did set my goal to learn Nepali this year for sure, to the point where I'm fluent in it. So very soon I've already set some dates with my dad to learn Nepali, and he's very eager to help me out with this. So I'm going to be practicing and learning it a lot more. So yeah, next time I hopefully will be speaking to you very fluently.
Nina learned a lot while we were in Pokhara though. She learned a lot.
Yes, I did. I did forget some words, so you have to help me to remember them. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Girls did help me a lot. They did, really.
Okay, I was going to ask you a question because it's linking with Nepali language. So what is one Nepali word that best describes you? So Sujita, do you want to go first?
That's a hard one. One Nepali word that best describes me.
Or do you want me to change the question? Okay, let me say it again. What is one Nepali word? Let me say it again. What is your favorite Nepali word and why?
Nina, how about you go first? Because there's so many words.
Okay, Nina, go. You go first.
One word that I've learned actually during our interview together with Sujita and the rest of the Sash sisters, the top 5, was Ramailo. It was something that I've learned there. I did not understand what it meant at all during the interview. But then after the interview, I realized what it meant. And I was like, I really like that word, because it sounds fun. It is fun. And, that's something I like to have in my life. That's what I believe in, because life, you only live once. So you want to live it having fun and actually enjoying the whole process and experience. So that would be my word.
Reminder. So, Sujita, what is your favorite Nepali word and why?
So okay, not word, but I think a phrase is "kasto man paryo." I feel like I say "kasto man paryo" to everything. It's almost like, like I don't know. Khana kasto man paryo, luga kasto man paryo, you time kasto man paryo. Like I just love using kasto man paryo.
I think I've
love
heard
that
you
word.
use that quite a lot.
I do use it a lot.
So, can you, for our international viewers, would you mind translating what you just said? What does that mean?
Gusto man paryo is I really like it. I really enjoy it. It depends on how you use it. Like if you're using it for food, gusto man paryo, it's like I really like this food. If you're using it for like the situation, you could, well, I use it for the situation. I don't know if it's correct grammatically, but I'll be like gusto man paryo. It's like I really enjoy hanging out with you guys, like something like that.
Oh, that's so cute. And what Nina was saying was Reminder, right? You said Reminder. It's like it's very
Right,
fun.
yeah.
In short, Reminder means
Mhm.
fun. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the next question is, we have actually quite a lot of questions. So girls, let's keep it a bit short, the answers, because I still have fan
Okay.
questions I have not even
Okay.
asked on my phone. So okay, the next question is this one. As you both of you joined Miss Universe Nepal, who is your favorite Miss Universe winner and why?
My favorite Miss Universe winner so far has been Demi. I think I really love the way that she carries herself. And, for me, I saw her as the first kind of pageant title holder that broke the boundaries because her height, right? She's not the tallest of them all. And I think her to make it that far, I think it really spoke volumes about the system as itself, and also her social work. She really she did a lot of work with young kids with disabilities, and even after her reign, like even way after she gave up her title, she still continues to do that work, and I really admire that and appreciate her. And just her bubbly character, her like young and fresh character. I love that because she's married now, and even then, like, she's gone through so many phases of her life, and even yet she's still so fresh and so young and so just like refreshing to watch and listen to. So I just love that about her, the way she carries herself, the way she presents herself, and her drive and her passion for helping kids.
That's lovely. And if I'm not wrong, Demi is one of the shortest recently, crowned Miss Universe. She's only 5'6",
Yeah.
which is considered really small in pageant industry. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. What about you, Nina? Who is your favorite Miss Universe winner?
Mine is definitely Catriona Gray. First of all, because her year was actually the first year when I closely watched the whole show of Miss Universe. And that was my first pageant as well, Miss Asia Russia. So I decided, you know what, like I really want to see what's happening in Miss Universe. And when I saw her performance, I was stunned by it. The walk, the talk, the way she looks, the way she kind of like shoots those, the smiles, and I don't know, it's just everything about her performance was so on point. So I really admire her for, first of all, the way she carries herself during interviews as well. And now I've learned how tough it can be during the interviews to actually answer some of the toughest questions. She answers them so perfectly, and also they're so heartfelt. It's not just something that she kind of like learned beforehand. It just comes out so naturally and so heartfelt. And that's something I really admire in her answers. And when I was preparing for Miss Universe Nepal, I watched so many of her interviews, so many of her Q&A sessions, that to kind of get a little hint of how she does it and to sort of feel more comfortable with answering some questions myself. And yeah, and the way she didn't go for pageantry once. She went for it so many times, and she did not give up. And that's something I also very admire, because she at the end she did get it. She did get the title that she was going for. So she is very confident. She is on point and she just goes for it. That's like, yeah, that's definitely Catriona Gray.
So since you talked about pageant questions, the upcoming question is regarding your past experience, or the recent experience, I should say, in Miss Universe Nepal. Nina, you won the social advocacy title, right? BBB social
Yes.
advocacy title. So can you talk a little bit about your advocacy and how is it going regarding your project?
Mhm. So my advocacy is mental health and breaking the stigma. Because right now, as much as people have spoken about it in pageantry and social media, there is still a lot of stigma in different communities. And unfortunately, in Nepal, it still stays quite strong. So I myself went through an eating disorder, which is a mental health disorder. And that's something that pushed me towards understanding that so many people go through similar experiences every single day. And thankfully, I was able to get out of it myself. But one thing that I realized is I did not get professional help because of this stigma. Because I was so scared of what people will tell me if they find out, what will say, how much they will judge me. So education is what helped me to get over it myself, as I was taking some psychology classes in my school years. But what I want to tell people, what I want to sort of convey in my messages is that it's okay to not be okay. And if you feel like you need help, you should go and get it. Because if you do like break I don't know, a finger, you would go to a doctor to go and fix it, right? But if you have some really big problem in with like, you know, your mental state, then why should you not be able to go and get help from a professional as well, right? So that's something that I want to break, that stigma. And right now with my project, what I'm trying to do is actually sort of create the series of episodes where we're going to be talking about mental health with different advocates and professionals that work in the field of psychology and psychiatry, so that people don't only hear the point of view from the advocates, but also from medical people who actually understand what happens on like in a medical way. No, so that people understand who to go to for help. They would feel more comfortable understanding that, okay, those are the people we need to go to. They seem very knowledgeable. They're not scary, you know, as some people think. If they go to a doctor, you know, it's going to be some scary person. No, it's someone who's actually there to help you. So to break that image of, you know, something shady, something scary that we see in the movies, that's something I want to do through these episodes. So I'm working on it right now by setting it up. I don't have it like running yet, but it's gonna be running very soon. So stay tuned for that.
Excited to see it. And also, I just want to give you a quick congratulations for winning. Was it the first subtitle, right, of Miss Universe Nepal?
Yes,
Congratulations.
yes, it was the biggest win for me at that pageant because I was so surprised I got it, but I was so honored to get it because it was the subtitle that meant so much to me. So, yes, thank you for your congratulations.
Sujita, so let's hear about your advocacy.
Yeah, so my advocacy is called Liberated, and the ED in Liberated stands for education. And the idea behind Liberated is, you know, for me, the personal story behind it is that as a young girl who grew up in a low income, low household, my biggest struggle was financing my education. And for me, I always valued education because without that, I wouldn't be able to get out of the situation that I was in. And, you know, through layers and layers of, you know, different access to different resources and eventually getting a bachelor's degree, I'm able to become financially stable today. And I'm able to proudly say that I own my first home, my own property myself today because of the education that I was given. And so I think this same idea of education also needs to be widespread across the world, and especially in countries like Nepal, where there is a group of individuals that are from a lower bucket of either a lower caste or from disadvantaged disadvantaged backgrounds or from a low socioeconomic status, they're never given the opportunity to proper education. And when I say education, it's not just simply a degree or, graduating from high school, it's access to the resources that they need to be able to succeed in society. Because we always think, everyone needs to have a college degree to succeed, but that's not true. What everyone needs is the right mindset, the right education to be able to seek those resources, to be able to build a future for themselves, right? And so at Liberated, we really invest in the individual. We understand that the government and a lot of other organizations are already doing a lot to provide free education, primary level education for everyone across the country. But what we want to do is add on the next level to that and, really work with individuals from these disadvantaged backgrounds that do want to further pursue higher education and that do want to go into career fields like nursing or engineering or business, right? And we want to give them the opportunity of getting a bachelor's degree along with a 1-year job opportunity to help them not only have a degree in their hand, but a resume that will allow them to go back into society and not fall into that cycle of poverty. Because the biggest thing that happens when aid organizations go out and work is they drop a solution, they disappear, and then the people that receive the solution go back to the cycle of whatever they were in, right? Whether that's poverty or being disadvantaged or being mistreated. And so we want to break that cycle and we want to liberate them from that cycle with education and create advocates within these communities that will fuel the cycle of being liberated in their community. So again, focusing on one individual at a time, preparing them into the leader that they can be, and using those leaders to build the future of their communities. So that's kind of the idea. And right now, our first scholar, Nirmala, we onboarded her 3 years ago. She just graduated from Om Nursing College with her nursing degree. And she is finishing her 1-month practical right now. And once she's done, she'll be working full time. And alongside that, she also has a young son who she's also raising. And so we're really proud of her and we're really excited to see, all the changes that she brings in her community as like a young Dalit girl from Bajura. And so we really hope that, a degree, the 1 year of experience and leadership training, she'll go back to Bajura and empower other women that come from similar shoes as her.
Wow, that's amazing. Well done, Sujita.
Yeah.
I feel like we're asking very serious questions, so let's go to a fun one. Let's make it a lighthearted question.
Yeah.
So, since Sujita, you live in Maryland, USA, and Nina, you grew up in Moscow, Russia, and you're still in Russia. What is the best place in your hometowns that you like to promote to our international viewers who are watching this video or interview? So, anything to promote your hometowns? Anything? How would you like to promote your hometowns?
For me, I would say in Maryland. Maryland is on the East Coast, so it's by the shore, right? And not all parts of Maryland are on the shore, but my favorite part, which is such an underrated part, is Baltimore, Maryland. I don't know if you all have heard, but there's been such negative media about Baltimore because it's known as a city that has a lot of crime and a lot of racial issues. But one thing that I want to say is they have the best crabs. If you're into seafood, if you come to Maryland and you don't go to Baltimore, you are missing out on a major part of your life because they have the best crabs and the best seafood. And honestly, the nightlife there is really cute too, because most times we go out, it's usually DJs, right? But in Baltimore, it's all local bands. So you go out to bars and to restaurants and all you see are local bands. And I love that because they not only promote their local artists, but their seafood is amazing. So, I mean, what's better than that?
Wow, sounds really great. I also, because I lived in UK and I have to be honest, the British food is not the best. So like I came to Thailand and the seafood here is amazing. So like
Yeah.
Sujita, that sounds incredible. Seafood in Baltimore.
You have to come, George.
Yes, definitely. Nina, so how do you like to promote Moscow to our international viewers?
Okay, first of all, I feel like I would take you to all the touristy places if you ever come here, both of you, because Moscow is a beautiful city. It's very diverse in its culture because you have like the old city, the traditional one. You have the Red Square. You have all the beautiful cathedrals that look like Disneyland with all the different color-shaped domes. The Orthodox Christian churches. And also I would take you to the business places of Moscow, Russia, because that's like sort of the new Russia. That's the sort of like a very different part of it. So to see, kind of compare those two. And also I would take you to a Russian restaurant, which I also very like. It's called Taras Bulba. And it has a very traditional Russian Ukrainian food. And not everyone likes Russian food because they think it's bland, they think it's weird, a lot of sour cream going on there. So if you ever come here, I'd love to take you there and watch your reactions as you eat it. So do come, guys.
Sounds great. Okay, so let's move on to the fan questions. There are quite a lot. So I'm going to just ask you guys the ones that stood out to me. So this one is for Sujita. Do correct me if I'm not wrong. So one question is asked by Dikshita. She asks, I want to know how Sujita happened to get the red dress she wore in Miss Universe Nepal, which was worn by Miss Universe Olivia Culpo. Is that correct? Is she correct to say that?
So, okay, so I guess there was confusion in how people read that, but it's not her dress. She actually, I don't know if you guys know, but Olivia Culpo, she's a fashion icon pretty much. She is very revolutionary when it comes to modern day fashion. And so she partnered with Express, which is a company that makes clothing, and she collaborated with them to come out with a line, her own line, and that dress is from her line. The Express collab with Olivia Culpo line. And I think that line only was like last year, December, the winter of last year. They were there for a short period of time and it like ran out. And I was like, I have to get one. And so that was the last piece that was left in anywhere. And so I'm so glad that I got it.
Wow. So she cleared out all the rumors that it is not Olivia's. It's just that it's her it's her line, right? From Express.
Yeah, it's her line. It's not her dress. That would probably cost like millions of dollars if it was her.
So the next question is for Nina. So, okay, Nina, this is, I probably say this is the most popular question I received about you. So a lot of people want
I think
you.
I might know which one
Yeah,
that
you
is
might know
because
which
I've
one
received
that.
the same question a lot.
So yeah, there are like more than 10 questions people are asking. Nina, will you ever come back and compete in Miss Universe Nepal again?
Well, to the will you ever come back part, I might come back as maybe in the future if things don't go the way I might plan them. I might come back in a different position rather than being a participant because I feel like being a part of Miss Universe Nepal is it's so dear to me right now because it's not just history, as Sujita mentioned at the beginning of this interview, it's something revolutionary. So I do want to continue being part of it for sure. But I don't want to promise coming back being a participant yet because we don't know how things are going to go in the future. Right now, like some countries are getting locked down as well. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to keep anyone's hopes high yet, but I am considering it. Let's keep it that way.
So according to Nina, the doors are not closed. So, it's not a no, but we might see her returning.
You might. Stay tuned, guys, for the news to come.
So the next question is to Sujita. So a lot of fans would love to see you in Miss Universe. So if Miss Universe Nepal does not do a physical pageant this year, 2021, and they want to appoint you for Miss Universe 2021, will you accept the offer?
I mean, is that even a question? So, I mean, as someone who's been in pageantry for so long, that would be a dream come true to go to Miss Universe. And of course, if an opportunity like that was given to me, and if everything seemed fair in that circumstance, then of course I would take the opportunity. And it would be an absolute honor to go and represent Nepal at the Miss Universe stage. I think, any girl dreams of that. And of course, I would take the opportunity.
Wow, amazing. And also a question for you. I think this might be for both of you, but particularly for Sujita. So as you're the first runner-up, what are the responsibilities and the roles of being a first runner-up of Miss Universe?
So as the first runner-up, I treat the first runner-up title pretty much as if I've won because, I'm preparing myself just as Anshika is, physically, mentally, you know, with current events, brushing up on my communication skills, because you never know what can happen. And so, you know, I am the first runner up. So still preparing myself and still taking advantage of the fact that I'm first runner up. Other than that, the other duties are just to be there to support our lovely Miss Universe Nepal herself, you know, any support that she needs with her grooming, with her training, access to information, helping, you know, helping her prepare for her journey. And at the same time, while we're helping her prepare, we're preparing ourselves too. So yeah, that's my main duty, is to make sure that Anshika goes out there and shines the brightest way that she can and brings home that crown.
Amazing. What about you, Nina? So as a second runner-up, what is your rules, not rules, what are your responsibilities, I should say, and duties as a second runner-up of Miss Universe Nepal?
Well, since I'm one of the 5 Sash sisters, I also do have that responsibility to support our queen, Anshika, and to try to help her, as Sujita said, in any way possible, to support her on social media, support her maybe just by, you know, keeping her motivations up, keeping her mood up, and just, you know, being connected with each other. And also, as if for now, I'm not sure, as like, since I'm not in Nepal at the moment, I still have to figure out when I come back to Nepal where, like, what I'm going to be doing in there in particular. But we do have some events coming up in Nepal, probably with some of the organizations, some of the companies that we did work during Miss Universe Nepal. So maybe to be there, to be present at those events would be some parts of our duties. But as if for now, I am sort of keeping it calm. If things go the right way, I might be also preparing myself by practicing my Q&A, my interviews, and things like that. But yes.
Amazing. So as you know, in Nepal, beauty queens are regarded as inspiration by many young Nepali youth. So how would you encourage young Nepali people who look up to you as a role model? Anyone of you can go for this one.
So I think, you know, we've already realized the level of impact that we can make with just being a pageant participant. I think all 50 of us can contest to this, because as soon as we joined the Miss Universe Nepal pageant, I'm pretty sure all of us got messages in our inbox from random people across the world saying how much we've inspired them, right? And so I think, you know, how we can continue to inspire is just being human, because a lot of times when people look up to influencers or, you know, any public figure, they think of unrealistic expectations, and that goes back to how social media portrays people, right? So as, you know, as public figures, I think my biggest responsibility is to be as human as I can, to, like, obviously to take the filter off and show them, like, I am a normal girl just like you, I have normal dreams just like you, I came from normal situations just like you. And to get there, you have to, like, accept and take in all of who you are. Don't put on a facade and try to be someone else, because that will show how unoriginal you are, and you'll never get far in life. And so, you know, my biggest responsibility is to be human, be true to myself, and continue to inspire my supporters that way and help guide them. Because a lot of people also ask me, a lot of young girls have come to me asking about how they can start their journey in pageantry, and they really want my support and helping them, help guide them. And so I tell them, you know, just go for it, because when I first started, I didn't know anything about pageantry. And as you go through the process of it, the more you do it, the more you learn. It's like playing basketball, right? The more you play, the more you practice, the better you get. And so at the end of the day, you know, being true to myself, being original, being human, and just, you know, pushing people to go for their dreams. Don't be scared. I think that's just something that I would, you know, share.
What about you, Nina?
I would actually agree with Sujita totally, because I got so many different messages from girls, from boys, from everyone technically, saying that we have inspired them so much through our journey, through just being ourselves and portraying ourselves not just as someone who's up there, but also being so grounded. Telling us stories of how we used to be so shy, and how, for example, I broke away from it by actually trying to experience the world through a different lens. So I feel like my responsibility would be connected to, first of all, to the supporters, because they give so much of their energy, they gave so much of their love and support to me. So at least I owe that. And some of the days out of the week I take just to answer messages, answer the comments, and it does take a lot of time, but I feel like it also fills me up. It fulfills me so much, just connecting to the people that have supported me throughout the way. And also, I keep telling all the young girls who also ask me, how should I prepare myself for Miss Universe Nepal or for Miss Nepal in the future? I just tell them, first of all, don't try to overthink it. Just try. First of all, go for it. Because if you try it, you first of all will see whether you feel like it's meant for you, whether you feel like you need to work on this part of your, maybe image, on maybe your speech or something else. You will understand what you will need to work for yourself, because it's different for everyone. For me, for example, I had to focus more on Q&A rather than the walk. And for some other girls, it would be different, of course, because they could be a better speaker rather than, the walker. So I keep telling them, just go, just try, see for yourself. And if you don't make it this year, at least you have learned something. You've learned through your experiences. And now you can try again and do better with each time, because not everyone can do it from the first time. So yes, that's the thing I keep telling everyone.
We're almost come to the end of our interview, where I think I have 3 questions left. So I want to end it on a fun note. So I want to know, I need an honest answer for this one. So since you girls, both of you were like front runners for the crown of Miss Universe Nepal, what were your first impression of your Nina to Sujita and Sujita to Nina? What was your first impression of each other?
Oh, like our first impression when we met in person?
Yes, in person. When you arrived in Kathmandu and you in the hotel, right? The first time you guys met was in a hotel. What was your first impression of each other? Yes.
So I remember the first time we actually saw each other was in the lobby. We were just arriving, and Nina was already in the hotel because she had arrived from Russia and came directly to the hotel. And so so it was 5 of us who had just strolled in with our luggages. We were sitting in the lobby, and then Nina walks down. And my first impression, what was my first impression? She was so sweet. She was just like very like comforting and sweet. And, like looking at her, she looks very fierce. And so my thought was, she's going to come in, she's going to be very fierce. She's going to be, doing her thing because she doesn't really speak Nepali. So like, she's going to be so focused on the competition. But it was not like that at all. She came in, she was like, hi girls. And so my impression was like, wow, she's such a humble queen. I love her.
Oh, that's so cute.
What about you, Nina? What was your first impression of Sujita?
Honestly, when I first came in there, yes, as Sujita said, they were all sitting down in the lobby. And first of all, I was just kind of, my eyes were running, everyone's faces. I was like, who is who? Like, I needed to kind of like put the picture to the face that I saw in the Zoom sessions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing them in real, like in person now. And when I saw Sujita and she stood up, my first impression was like, oh, she's actually shorter than I thought.
That was everyone's impression. Everyone was like, you were so short. And I was like,
you look
thank
so
you.
tall
I know
in your
I
photos. I was like, wow, how do you do that? And then the second one was because during our Zoom sessions, like he was speaking so on point. And I was like, oh my gosh, like and you spoke for the first time and you were also, oh my God, hi, it's so nice to see you. Oh my gosh. And I was like, yeah, she's not always on point when it comes to like the speaking. It wasn't like a speech because, for example, when I heard her doing her Zoom sessions, it was always like a, kind of like a mini speech. And when I first heard her speak, it was so sweet and so comforting as well. And I was like, oh, she's so sweet.
Nice.
Thanks, Nina. I miss you.
That was cute. So I would like to, I should ask this question at the start, but how was your experience, since both of you have gone through the same experience of Miss Universe Nepal? I should say journey, not experience, but same journey of Miss Universe Nepal. How was your experience competing in Miss Universe Nepal?
Well, mine was, I'm gonna go away from all the, the serious talks. Mine was actually very fun because no matter how much stress there was, no matter how many maybe like mini failures for me, I still took the best out of it. I took the most positive bits of it. I took all the fun moments with the girls. That's like the brightest memories from the competition, is actually interacting with people, because I've met such incredible people, starting from the the pageant girls, ending up with some, I don't know, celebrities just meeting us and giving us some advices on how to kind of like make your life work out. And for me, that was incredible. The incredible part of being in Miss Universe Nepal is actually interacting with so many people, with so many interesting stories, being so inspired by them. And I do miss the vibe. I do miss the vibe of just going up to a person and just being like, hi, so my name is Nina, and just being so friendly and smiling, and they smile at you back, and just kind of, you feel like you're friends immediately. So I missed that, because like once it was over, I felt like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it's over. Like, what do I do now?
Yeah,
What
for
about you,
me,
Sujita? Yeah.
yeah, for me, it was very similar too. My biggest like fear going into Miss Universe Nepal was into the closed camp was I've never been in Nepal and had friends from Nepal, right? So that whole idea of not being able to get along with people was my biggest fear. But like I really was shocked because I feel like from day one, I was able to like mingle with everyone, and everyone was just so welcoming. All the girls, and it sounds so cliche, but really the sisterhood was a bond like sisters. We would wake up and have breakfast together the whole day. We would just joke around and have so much fun and like, help each other out. And like the sisterhood I really do cherish. And I hope that, of course, during the pageant week, it's going to be at a different level, but I hope that that same level of love and kindness and bond, I hope we share for the rest of our lives. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for me was the girls that we met along the journey. And of course, the training that was provided to us was just phenomenal. We were getting trained by the best of the best in the industry, and I don't think any amount of money would have been able to help us buy that experience. And so for me, it was also getting connected with so many people that of course I'm going to take advantage of, stay connected in the future. All the trainings that we learned, from makeup to hair to speaking to walking to even like teach for Nepal, like Anil Shah, like all of those lessons that we learned, all those people that we met, I think that's so invaluable that I'm going to remember that forever. And just the experience of being in Nepal, usually when I go to Nepal, it's with family, and so I've never seen the posh or the young side of Nepal. I've always seen like the traditional, more, day-to-day life of Nepal. And so this time around, getting to see, all these cool restaurants, we went to Pokhara and we saw all these like cool hip new places. I was like, wow, Hamro Nepal is the top. That was just such a proud moment for me. And I'm really excited to go back, like showcase that to like the world, because when people think of Nepal, they think of like a poor country that doesn't have anything
Yeah.
fun to do. You only go there to go mountain climbing or on a religious pilgrimage, but that's not true. Like I would totally go to Nepal on a vacation, just like I would go to Thailand or Bali. Like
Mhm.
there's really cool places there. And so that was also another thing that I took away from this experience, this journey, was the value of how much our country has grown in the past like decade or even less.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, I'm being biased here again because I think you girls know my family's from Pokhara. So you girls said you've been to Pokhara. How was it? How
Ooh.
was it? How was your trip? Because I have not been there in so long. So how was your trip? I want to know the trip. Yeah,
It
go
was
on.
one of the best trips, honestly. I loved the city. I loved the vibe. Everything there was so. It started from like being in some like posh clubs to going to the lakeside, and oh my gosh, being in that boat and crossing the lake. It was like in the night. It was the scariest, yes, the most exciting thing that I've experienced, because it was so beautiful. Yet people were telling all those creepy stories of like people drowning in there, and I was like,
Right.
oh.
And our
But
boat
then,
actually stopped in the middle at one point, and our
yes.
the poor guy was just like going, and the
Really?
boat wasn't moving, and we were all like, oh my gosh, are we gonna
Wait,
drown? It
was it at like evening time? What time was it? Was it
Yes.
morning,
was like
evening?
9.
Oh,
Yeah.
what? 9 o'clock? You guys were
Yeah, 9
doing
p.m.
boating at that's like really late. Like people
We were
forgot to do
out quite late,
boating at that
exploring the
late.
city. Like,
Oh wow,
It was
that's
No,
so
we
really
love.
it was
good.
so nice though. George,
Uh-huh.
when was the last time you went?
2018, I went to see Miss Nepal to support Manita, of
Okay.
course. And yeah, I went there and like I actually didn't do that typical boating. It was the paddle one, like the two people one.
Oh.
I'm sure you
Mhm.
go,
Yeah.
right? Like these are three people can join, and the paddle one because I don't really like the typical boat because of the whole. You need to be in
Yeah.
balance, and then I'm
Oh
kind of
my
scared
God.
of tipping over, and like a lot of people from Pokhara they get
Yeah.
scared of that. So we usually go on the big one with the paddle, so you can have like a group of friends and still go, yeah, and have fun. But maybe the
Also, at
next,
one point, I realized like I could feel some water underneath my feet, like like a puddle. I
yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, like
We're going down. We're going
yes.
down together, Nina.
Uh,
That's the only thought that warmed me. You know, I
that's
was
right.
like, I'm not alone here at least.
Yeah.
No, it actually like if you guys are like religious, there is a temple, right? And she, the goddess, I forgot her name. This is really bad. I should know her name. But the Hindu goddess, she protects the lakes. So like no one, there's not have been like any case of drowning in really long. So it's yeah, it's quite
Mm.
well.
Yeah, they were. Jojo was telling us really crazy stories, her and Rose, and they were saying that don't look in the water or else the water's gonna pull you in. And we
No,
were just like,
But
okay.
yeah, they were telling the stories in Nepali, and I was like, do not
no.
translate that. Do not
I'm sure they're
translate that.
pulling
I don't
pranks on you
want to know.
girls. Because Rosie was from Pokhara. Like I'm pretty sure she was trying to, yeah, prank you girls just to scare you. But
Yeah,
nothing
she was
was
like, I
like that.
had
Yeah.
so much fun.
Wow, amazing. So you girls have to come again, and hopefully next time we'll do even more stuff because there are so
Yes,
many exciting
definitely.
things. Yeah,
Absolutely.
amazing. So I cannot believe I have the last question, and the question is: we have come to the end of 1 hour interview, first of all, which feels really short to me.
It does.
It does.
So, what message do you have for our viewers and your fans, your supporters? Any message you'd like to give, please?
A message that I want to definitely give to everyone is, first of all, thank you so much for believing in me. I don't know how to express this in words. Like, I don't know how to express the thanks and the gratitude at all because the amount of messages, the support, the love before the pageant, during the pageant, after the pageant that has been coming in, it it's just warms my heart and my soul. And like, if it wasn't for you guys, I don't think I would have had the drive or anything to be able to push through the competition and to get to here today. And because of your love, I'm able to, continue further past this pageantry despite whatever happened, right? And so I love you all for that. Thank you so much for all your love and support. And please continue supporting our Queen Anshika because she's going to make our country really, really proud. She has such a bright future ahead of her. And we're all going to have to be there to support her because at the end of the day, Nepal is what it has to be put on the map. And it's our job to help support Anshika and to make her bring home that crown. So thank you all so much. Lots of love.
Aw. For me, yes. Sujita just said everything I wanted to say as well. So thank you, everyone, all of my supporters who have always been there during the good and the bad, who have always kept me up, my motivation up and going. You guys have made such a huge difference. If you did not show so much love and support, I don't think I would have the same energy to go all the way from the beginning till the end because this pageant lasted for months. And honestly saying, due to you guys' love, due to your energy, your reposts, your posts, your support, and everything you guys have showed us, that's one of the things that kept us going on until the very end and kept our energy up. So thank you all so much for all the love, even now that we all get from all of you guys. Because now, even like when I try to answer all the messages, they still keep coming and coming, and people just saying that how much love and gratitude they express to us for what we've done for Nepal, for them personally as well. So I want to thank you guys for that. Also, I want to thank you, George, for inviting us to this interview. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, George. And Sujita, it's so
Same
nice to
here.
see you again. I miss you so much.
Thank you.
And also, Yes, I want to say if you guys want to go for something, just go for it. Like that's something I've always been saying and I'm always going to keep saying is that just go for it and dream big. Just go for your dream and don't think that it's something unachievable just because you see it on Instagram as a final result. There's always a path that people have to go through. And unless you make that small step towards actually achieving your dream, you will never get there until you actually make that first step. So do make that first step and always go for it.
Yes, and also like I'm gonna be honest, it is quite late here, so I was thinking that my energy would be very low for this interview, but thanks to you girls keeping up the energy, I feel quite energized. And yeah, it was a really fun interview. I'll be very honest.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you,
we had
George.
so much fun
For always
too.
being there.
It was like a shot of coffee.
Yeah.
Anyway, girls, I hope you have a wonderful future, and hopefully we get to see more of you in the future. Nina, maybe, fingers crossed.
Yes, yes. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And Sujita, I look forward to seeing more about your advocacy and the amazing work that you have been continuously doing. And I just want you girls to know you're doing amazing. You should be very proud of yourself that you have, marked the history as the first ever batch of Miss Universe Nepal.
Oh, thank you,
Thank you,
George.
George. Thank
Thank you
you.
for always being there for us and continuing to push us
Yeah.
through. You played a big part in helping encourage all of us.
So
Yes,
thank you.
Pageant Empress.
Thank you, girls. Saying that, guys, I hope you had a fun time talking to you. Well, watching me talk to you, our lovely ladies of Miss Universe Spa 2020. Make sure to follow them on their social media handles and see what they're up to after Miss Universe Nepal. Saying that, I'm gonna go and sign off this video. Thank you for watching this interview, guys. Take care. Have a good day ahead. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Stop the alarm.